Good morning, everyone. I'm Sunshine Erenea from BTLED 2A, and today I will be presenting the curriculum mapping and the lesson plan that I've made. So first, let me present the curriculum mapping. In curriculum map, it includes the content standard, the performance standard, the learning competencies, intended learning outcomes, the subject matter or content, strategies and method, teaching and learning activities, assessment, and the instructional material and resources. So as you can see, here is the table that I've made. It's for junior high school technical and livelihood education, home economics, and the lesson is about perform mensuration and calculation. In, in the left side, we have the content standard. So the learners demonstrate an understanding of performing mensuration and calculation. In performance standard, the learners independently measure and calculate ingredients in cookery. In learning competencies, LO1 carry out measurement and calculates in a required task. So we have the 1.1, give the abbreviation and equivalence of measurement. 1.2, identify the types of measuring tools. And 1.3, describe the function of measuring tools. For intended learning outcomes, at the end of the unit, students should be able to first analyze the different use of measuring tools. Second is to illustrate how to use measurement abbreviation and equivalent measurement in cooking preparation. And lastly is the student should be able to perform the different measuring techniques of ingredients. For the content, we have the types of measuring tools and their uses, measuring techniques of ingredients that include dry ingredients and liquid ingredients, and also the measurement, abbreviation, and equivalent measurement. For strategies and methods, I will implement the use of technology, use concrete example, visualization, and inquiry-based instruction. Teaching and learning activities. The students will do a reading of the learning materials, and then they will view a video presentation that has a connection to the topic for further information. After that, there will be a brief discussion about the lesson and also consultation to clarify the students' questions. They will also perform a group activity about the measurements so the students can experience and apply what they've learned, and also they can assess if they really understand the lesson. So for the assessment, students will be divided into groups and will perform how to properly use the different types of measuring tools. And the students will answer a short quiz about equivalent measurement and abbreviation. And lastly, the students will make a video summarization about what they learned in all the topics that has been discussed. Because if the students really understand the topic, they will be able to summarize it using their own words. For instructional materials and resources, I put the learning materials and the reference of the book. So now let's move on to the semi-detailed lesson plan in performing mensuration and calculation in cookery. In the first part, we have the objectives. So at the end of the discussion, the student should be able to analyze the different use of measuring tools, illustrate how to use measurement abbreviation and equivalent measurement in cooking preparation, perform the different measuring techniques of ingredients. The next part is the subject matter. So the subject matter is we have the three. First is the topic, which is the perform mensuration and calculation in cookery, and also the reference, which is internet and the soft copies or PDF file of the books. And in materials, we have the PowerPoint presentation. So next is the procedure. We have the preliminary activities and the motivation. In preliminary activities, this is how we will start the class. So I include the first is greeting, then opening prayer. Next is brief chatting about how is the day and the feelings of everyone. Then next is the checking of attendance and review the past lesson. For motivation, the class will do an activity so they will be motivated to start the class. So we will do a games entitled Classify Me and Describe Me. So the mechanics of the games is the student will be grouped into four. Then I will show them a different pictures of measuring tools and they should be able to classify if the given tools belong to measuring dry or liquid ingredients. One student will pick a rumble paper containing all the names of the measuring tools and then describe the measuring tools they get using body language, and their group member will answer the tools if they're that are being described. So the group who got the highest score will get a prize. These motivation activities will also gain an assessment about the prior knowledge of the students and they will gain an insight about how the topics or what are the topics that will be discussed. So next is the lesson proper. In the lesson proper, it includes the main topic that I will be discussing. So the teacher will discuss the tools, measurement, and calculation used in cookery. We also have the guide question that the student should be able to answer after the lesson is being discussed. So what are the types of measuring tools and their uses? What is the measuring techniques of ingredients? And how do measurement abbreviation and equivalent measurement help the learners? So in the next picture, this is the measuring tools. The measuring tools and their different definitions. The measurement equivalence and equipment, we have the picture so the students will be able to understand it easily. And the table of weights and measure, this table is about how to measure the liquid. The next table is how to measure the dry ingredients. And also another information how to accurate measuring devices help you achieve the same result every time you use a recipe. That's a further information. So next is the generalization. In the generalization, the students will answer a question. And it says that enumerate at least 3 measuring tools that you can find in your home. And at least one people enumerate the units of measurement and also tell its abbreviation. And for abstraction, this is where I will measure the own understanding of the students or their own opinions. So for you as a student, what is the importance of having measuring tools in your kitchen and what it is important to measure ingredients if you can just estimate it according to what you think is applicable. So next is the application. In application, this is where the student will apply what they've learned. So I decided to have a group activity. So the student will be divided into 2 groups. Each group will prepare a short skit demonstration on how to properly measure the liquid and dry ingredients using measuring tools. So the group 1 will demonstrate the measurement of liquid ingredients and the group 2 will do the measurement of dry ingredients. And the skit should be only last for 3 minutes. Next is the evaluation. So in evaluation, we have the identification that the students will answer. So identify the correct terms of abbreviation below and also the following statement. So the student should write the answer in the space provided before the number. And lastly is the assignment. In assignment, I include research or find additional measurement tools that can be used in cooking aside from the tools that has been discussed. And lastly is bring at least 3 pictures of different measuring tools or pictures of measurement abbreviation. Choose at least one from the given choices. So that is all for the curriculum mapping and the semi-detailed lesson plan that I've made. That's all. Thank you.